Hi everyone. This is Management and Organizational Behavior subject of Yeshweshwaraya Technological University for MBA. Here, as per the syllabus, is for the module 3 part 1. The topics I'm going to cover now today is directing and controlling. This part contains the definition and nature of direction, need and importance of direction, elements of directing, principle of directing, techniques of directing, characteristics of directing. Now, I'll tell you a story before starting directing. There was a person appointed as a brand manager for Lifebuoy and Pierce at the age of 27 years. These Lifebuoy and Pierce are that company's most popular soaps. He was a mini businessman responsible for production, sales, and profit of the brand. He was overall in charge of the company. But very soon he realized that he cannot move a pin without checking with his seniors. One evening, he expressed his frustration to marketing director and gently asked whether he will get a complete charge. Then marketing director smiled benignly and said, "The perception and reality are both right. You will get the total charge when you know more about the brand than anyone else in this company, about its formulation, the raw materials, the production costs, the consumer's perception, distribution, and so on. How long do you think that will take?" he asked. And suddenly the lesson was clear. He was desiring a total control long before he deserved it. This happens to all of us all the time in terms of responsibilities, posting, and promotions. There is a gap between our perception and of what we deserve and what we get. It helps to deserve before we desire. Experience is a comb that nature gives to the man after he grows bald. Bald man's comb, that is called. That is experience. Here, the real topic starts from now on. Direction. What is meant by direction? Once the organizational plans have been laid down, the structure being designed, and competent people brought into the fill various positions in the organization, direction starts. Direction is managerial function of guiding, motivating, leading, and supervising the subordinates to accomplish desired objectives. Acquiring physical and the human assets and suitably placing them will not suffice. What is more important is that people must be directed toward the organizational goals. People should be told that what he should do to achieve that goal. Everybody's short job should be designed. Without proper direction and supervision, employees become inactive. They sit idly, dull and inefficient, and consequently the physical assets like machinery and plant will be put to inefficient use. Next, we move on to definition of the directing. Here, the directing is telling the people what to do and seeing that they do it to best of their ability. It is through the directing that managers get work done through the people. It consisting of issuing orders and instructions by superior to his subordinates. This is done by communication. Communicate to the subordinates what they should do. Guiding, advertising, and helping subordinates in proper methods of the work. That is leadership. Leading the all the workers working in the employees to achieve the goal of the organization. Sometimes Motivation is also needed. Motivate them to achieve goals by providing incentives, good working environment, etc. Third point is supervising subordinates to ensure compliance with the plans. Supervise them while doing the work and guide them. Next heading is nature of the direction, features of the direction or characteristics of the direction. Any question is asked, the same answer is for all of these headings. First characteristic is it deals with the people, right? Directing deals with the people. We are directing the people, not to the machines or the non-living things. Here, people are involved in directing. Direction deals with the people. It is a process of inspiring people to achieve goals. To this end, it seeks to create harmonious relationship between the people. However, it is not an easy affair. People are not primarily interested in enterprise objectives. They have objectives of their own. Directing is therefore a complex function as managers have to deal with the people having diverse goals. Second characteristics is seek performance. Direction makes things happen. It translates plans into actions. It makes people goal oriented. To obtain results, managers not only issue orders but also supervise the performance of the subordinates. They also try to integrate effort at various levels. This helps in securing desired performance in minimum cost. Provides a link. Direction is a function of management which follows planning, organizing, and staffing. The fourth step, it leads, it lends meaning to them by ensuring accomplishment of the goals. Yeah, planning, organizing, and staffing, hence in directing to achieve the goals. It provides an important link between different functions in the organization. Link all these steps. Without direction, the individual goals and organizational goals would never intermesh. They should be integrated. Individual goals and the organizational goals, then only will get motivated to achieve the goals of the organizations. Pervasive. This direction is pervasive means it is widespread everywhere in the organization. Direction is performed by all the managers at all levels of the organization. Every manager is expected to supervise, motivate, lead, communicate with his subordinates to get the results. However, the time spent on these activities decreases at higher levels of authority. Dynamic and continuous. Next is direction is dynamic and continuous process. Whenever plans change, techniques of direction also change. Manager has to suitably modify the techniques of the direction in order to keep pace with the changing times. Further, manager needs to direct, guide, teach, motivate, and lead his subordinates on continuous basis, which is ongoing activity of managers. Next heading is need of directing or importance of the directing. Both headings need the same explanation. Initiates action. Direction lends meaning to other managerial functions such as planning, organizing, and staffing. It is through the direction manager seeks to achieve goals. In most cases, systematic planning around sound organization and staffing do not ensure accomplishment of goals. Directing is required there. Issuing instructions. Second is providing guidance, supervising work, motivating the subordinates to realize the goals. Without direction, other functions of the management remain ineffective. Direction makes things happen. Second need is achieves integration. Direction creates harmony and cooperation between the members of the group. In an organization, the total work is performed by different people at different levels. Unless the work is supervised by the managers in a proper way, things do not move in a direction required. Direction secures the wholehearted cooperation of people all levels through the good communication, people oriented supervision, and motivation. It tries to integrate the efforts of individuals in a proper way. Motivates the people. Direction motivates the employees to achieve superior performance. To this end, attractive incentives, healthy work climate, guidance, and counseling, etc., are provided to employees. The employees are made to realize that their performance alone guarantees organization's process. Unless they contribute in a real way, there is no future. This is ultimately helps in getting superior performance from employees. Direction thus makes common men do uncommon things. Next, fourth one is facilitates changes. This direction. Direction facilitates necessary changes in the organization. It helps an organization to introduce the changes smoothly. While planning plan would be uh, could have a little bit changed while executing it. For example, employees often resist the introduction of the computers and robots in manufacturing operation. Hearing loss of employment. People don't have these skills and they are resistant to learn the new skills and they feel it is very difficult to learn the computer. Managers can remove such doubts by emphasizing the fact that automation and computerization will automatically help the organization to achieve growth and thereby provide attractive incentives to the employees. Though pervasive leadership and proper communication managers can secure the cooperation of employees. They can introduce changes in a smooth way. That is their quality, motivating the people. Next, attains the balance and stability. Direction helps the organization strike harmonious balance between individual needs and organizational demands. People are made to work hard in attempt to realize organizational goals and thereby earn their rewards. They are compelled to use resource judiciously and achieve speedy progress. The heart of administration is direction function, which involves determining the scope, giving orders and instructions, and providing dynamic leadership. Direction converts the plans into action. Without proper direction, people do not work to their full capacity and goals may remain as dreams. Next is principles of direction. First principle of harmony of objectives. The direction function must first of all resolve the conflict between individual goals and the organizational goals, unify both of them. The manager must try to bring harmony and fusion between individual employees, groups, and organization. Managers should foster the sense of belongingness to the organization among the individuals so that they can identify themselves with the company. When both the interests are integrated, contribution of the subordinates to the company will maximum. It leads to efficiency and effectiveness. Principle of unify of command. The sound principle of direction is that the subordinates should receive orders from one and only one superior. That means to say there should not be a dual subordination. Dual subordination brings disorder, confusion, chores, and undermines the authority of superior. Any violation of this principle may be catastrophic to the organization. Third one is principle of direct supervision. Since the direction involves motivating the employees towards work, it is almost essential for manager concerned to have a personal touch with the subordinates and involve in face-to-face communication regarding the work-related matters. He should also develop informal relationships with his employees. Direct supervision makes his subordinates happy and boosts their morale. It also ensures quick feedback of necessary information. Appreciate techniques. The techniques used for direction should be appropriate to the people, the task, and the situation. Democratic style may work in some cases, but autocratic style may produce results in some other cases, especially where subordinates are incapable of doing things on their own. Managerial communication, two-way communication is important part of direction. Manager should explain the policies and practices to the subordinates and results expected of them. The proper feedback should be come through upward communication. The manager should actively encourage subordinates to express their views freely and fearlessly. Informal organization. Managers should make use of the informal groups to supplement, support, and strengthen the formal structure. The cooperation of the informal leaders will go a long way in putting the house in order. Principle of motivation techniques. Seventh one is principle of maximum individual contribution. Performance improves greatly when every employee gives his best to the organization. The manager therefore should inspire the subordinates in such a way that they contribute their maximum by realizing organization objectives. Use of motivation techniques. Managers should know how to motivate and inspire the employees. The manager should develop selective motivation techniques such as money, pay, status, job enrichment, etc., so that the productivity and quality of the commodity produced increases. Motivation almost always leads to higher job satisfaction. To direct properly and motivate the employees, an executive must have insight into how his personality works, how employees perceive the work environment, the attitudes of the employees, etc. Understanding others and the self are important for this. Understanding self is important for understanding others. Understanding others is necessary for motivating them effectively. Principle of follow up. Successful direction is never ending activity. It involves the constant and continuous supervision, coaching, advice, counseling, and helping the employees in their respective activities. Direction is also concerned with ensuring that people do what they are told to do. This requires continuous feedback. Feedback is essential to turn or stop or adjust the wheel of management in action. The next heading is elements of direction. Good instructions. Every instruction given by the manager in the process of directing the employees must be reasonable, complete, and clear. Instructions must be in writing. Written instructions are desirable when several individuals are subject to or directly affected by instructions, and execution of the instructions will extend over considerable period of time, and matter is of such importance that special steps to avoid possibility of misunderstanding are needed. Next is follow up of the instructions. Another well recognized principle is that once the order are issued, they should be followed up to see whether they are executed properly or instruction should be countermanded. If executive is indifferent in follow up, it will lead to the administration lax. Time scheduled become insignificant and will result in inefficiency. Instance on execution of the instructions is essential to ensure efficiency in direction. Standard practice and indoctrination. What is meant by standard practice and indoctrination? Indoctrination is that is instructions. It's not instruction given by the saints. In indoctrination is given by like Buddha and Swami Vivekananda. That is called indoctrination. In Indian language, we call it as upadesh. The use of standard operating procedure and customary way of doing things in an essential part of direction. Standard practice simplifies the instructions to be given by manager. Unfortunately, the large part of inadequate direction can be traced to misunderstanding without standard practice. Another associated part of standard practice is indoctrination. Indoctrination means instilling in subordinates a set of beliefs and attitudes so that they can look at the operating situation in a desirable way. Next is explanation. While issuing instructions, the manager should explain why the order is given. Consultative direction. Before an order is issued, the people responsible for executing it will be consulted about its feasibility, workability, and better way of accomplishing the results. Techniques of directing. First one is consultative directing. First one is consultative direction. Under this technique, superior through the vested with the powers to take decisions independently does not take decisions without consulting with his subordinates. Even though he has the power to take decisions, he will not take decisions directly without consulting the subordinates who are actually working on that job. The superior wins the cooperation of all the subordinates by taking their inputs into his decision. The subordinates feel committed and motivated to carry out such decisions made out of their viewpoints. Second is free rein direction. That is, under this technique, subordinates are empowered to take decisions independently. The superior limits himself to issuing guidelines. Execution of entire task is left to the subordinate. The subordinates are held accountable for the results. This type of direction can be practiced only when subordinates are highly educated, experienced, and capable and competent. This is self direction by the subordinates. This free of force method. This method is this method is used by the Modi because before executing any policy, he is asking every citizen of the country to input their views or their suggestions about that policy to his blog, so that they can take suggestion from every part of the country, every person of the country, and then it will be easy to modify as and correct the mistakes in that policy, and the policy would be perfect for the execution, and it should be acceptable by everyone in the country easily when they all of them are involved in the making of that policy. So next one is autocratic decision. Yeah, autocratic decision means the superior commands the subordinates to accomplish a set of goals. He does not like his decision making, the views and opinions and suggestions of his subordinates. The superior gives clear direction and precise orders to his subordinates where it will work. This kind of direction is useful in military. So we have heard of Hitler, who is a director, dictator, um, because in the war it is a life and death situation. In a few seconds they may die. So taking a proper decision and execution of this decision is within a very less time period to win that war. So everybody cannot sit and discuss about that. Only one has to think what should we do to win that war and survive in this war and kill the opposite country soldiers. So one is taking decision here, so he is passing his order autocratically, so his subordinates have to follow the orders without any opposition. This method is very useful in military because everybody will follow there when it comes the threat of life, that is a death threatening is there, then everybody will follow. We have all followed the rules given by the doctors during the pandemic, right? We washed our all of us hands often in a day to survive from this pandemic. Fourth one is supervision. Supervision is a process of overseeing the subordinates at the work. Supervisor gives a precise, detailed, clear-cut instruction to the subordinates. The quality of supervision depends on strength of the subordinates working under him. Lesser the strength of the subordinates, more effective is the supervision, vice versa. Where supervision is used in a small scale industries like textile industries where stitching is going on, when then employees are they will hire the train the employees, make them skilled, and then only they put them on the work for stitching purpose. Then supervisor supervise in their work when the strength of this supervision is that the depends on the quality of the employees, the skills of the employees working under him. Next point is motivation. Motivation is process of stimulating such uh, forces like desires, wishes, and wants at impel human beings to achieve desired action. Motivation may be monetary or non-monetary. Sometimes paying increasing their salary motivate them. Sometimes it may be non-monetary. He may be expecting the promotion. In the impact of non-monetary motivation is supposed to last longer than the monetary motivation. Motivation is classified into positive and negative motivation. While positive motivation is to be reinforced, while negative motivation should be applied at least at the last resort. It is not used anywhere. Negative motivation. Next is the leadership. Leadership technique is ability of the manager to influence his subordinates to achieve goals. Leader does many functions like formulating objectives, representing the undertaking, initiating action, influencing the followers. All these are done by the leadership leaders in the organization or outside the organization. Leaders have a certain important qualities to become a leader. Next technique is communication. Communication enables a group to think together, see together, and act together. Communication is necessary step for passing on decisions to those engaged in executing them. While playing the players in a cricket, for example, in a cricket, they encircle and put their hands on each of these shoulders and stand there and discuss something and come again and start playing. This short discussion is there communicating to each other and encouraging each other. Where the communication is not understandable to receive the direction and becomes ineffectual, face to face communication and feedback system is essential for smooth operation of the business. The flow of communication is in all directions, is in any direction. They are vertical, horizontal, lateral, and diagonal flow of communication. Organizations have to take effort to declog the blockage in the communication so as to use the flow of communication to easy flow of communication. Next is delegation is process of entrusting part of the work to be done by the superior to his subordinates. Without delegation, an organization cannot grow even an inch. In absence of delegation, superior is overloaded with the excess work. The subordinate to whom the authority is delegated is responsible to the delegator, is responsible for the works executed by delegee. Authority is given to the subordinate to accomplish that work, but if any failure is happened or any success is happened in that job, that will be responsibility of the his superior only. Superior is responsible for anything happens while executing that, even though he is giving authority. Responsibilities up to the senior only. Next is the orders. Orders are directives issued by superiors to the subordinates. Orders should be reasonable and reinforceable over subordinates, clearly defined and understandable, complete in all respects, and they should win the acceptance and cooperation of subordinates, preferably in a written form. Orders should be in the written form, appropriately toned, timeline prescribed. Timeline should be given while giving the orders. Yeah, thank you. If this is the end of this chapter. If you like the videos and want to know